Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with the long view video. Today is August 2nd, 2020. Before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. So the point of this video is to look at the market and the leaders of the market through a larger lens. And so we could see the forest through the trees, right? Taking a step back and seeing what's going on. It's a longer time frame type of ideas. And I think looking at the market on multiple time frames also is very, very important. So this is the long view. Again, weekly and monthly charts. That's what we're looking at today because we are lucky that the week and the month ended at the weekend and we're able to do this. All right, so the first chart on the screen is the SPX, and the SPX since the 1932 low, July 1932 low right here, boom, beautiful uptrend, right? And it's tested this trend line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times so far. And so far, it is holding beautifully. We are trying to get back to all-time highs. And actually on the monthly chart, we are at all-time highs, which is kind of interesting. So we've already broken out on the monthly chart, even though on the weekly chart, it hasn't quite shown that yet, but the monthly chart has. So I think that, it's just an uptrend, right? This trend line is not broken. It is intact. And these other potential support levels below it are way below it. All right, looking at the Qs. All right, so Qs, this was a 2000 high right here with the retracement. And here is the channel from the 09 low. That is what I'm watching. So let's just zoom in on that channel and we'll go to a weekly chart. You see on the monthly, we've broken out of it. And on the weekly, we broke out, retested, and now are back at all-time highs. Again, I think it's just a beautiful thing that we broke out to the upside of this channel. And I think that we'll ride this pony as long as it will go. Looking at the Russell. Now the Russell is the laggard, right? Let's go to the monthly here. So it's kind of, move sideways. We have this nice breakout move, and now it's moving sideways again, right? So it really needs to break out above this 175-ish area for me to get excited about the Russell again. It's done pretty good since the bottom as far as, bouncing, but not nearly as strong as the Qs for sure, and then the SPX. So this one is the laggard. Again, having a hard time just to get above, this supply area. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some ideas now on this longer time frame. These are in no particular order, right? And so let's take a look at what we got here. I'm going to look at them on weekly and monthly time frames. So first one is 10-cent music. And let's go to bar chart, candlesticks. Right, 10-cent music on the weekly chart, right? We had some fluctuations in here. It's now trying to get above this $18 or so area right here. I think that this, this has shown to be a potential area for resistance. So we're coming right back into it. But I do like this little kind of fish hook look, right? Would love to see this, maybe this pullback and then the breakout. A lot of nice accumulation coming in here. 10-cent music, that's weekly, and the monthly, you just awesome off the bottom. All right, next up is Apt Alphatech Pro. So on the monthly chart, this thing going back was a very, not much volume in here, nothing really going on. And then starting in January, things started to take off for it. And it is just booming now from $3 to $21. So that's a very short period of time. Looking at the weekly chart, you can see Here's where the volume really started coming in, a lot of accumulation volume in this one, and now we're kind of rotating back up. And again, once again, this area was an issue that it is now trying to contend with. That's the weekly. Again, the monthly was that. All right. Fastly. Let's look at the weekly chart. Again, moved sideways for a very long time. Then in May, it literally took off. The volume is ridiculous. Look at this one in June. This bar is unbelievable. Somebody took a lot of shares. So Fastly, again, now it's now marking time the last 4 weeks or so. And we'll look at the monthly. Again, newer name, so not much going on there, but you do see this unbelievable move from 21 to 96. Beautiful. Here's a Digital Turbine. Again, this company's been around for a while, right? All the way from 2007, and it had a big run here, gave back, had to create some sort of bottoming action, and now here we go. It looks like some nice accumulation moving in, and it wants to move higher. On the monthly, you can see that it may have room to 30. Well, there could be another double in store for this one. So again, huge amounts of volume coming in. Love that. We'll stay with the monthly here for Innovative Industries. It's marijuana REIT, and it started out kind of slow in 2017 and ran up. Now it's just marking time and looks like it's starting to rotate back up again. So some reasonable volume coming in here. Earnings coming up soon too. So it looks pretty good. Looking on the weekly chart, this was an area of potential support. It's trying to break out now. Again, good volume coming in, and there's your earnings. Square, I think everyone knows Square, but it looks, that's be interesting, volume weighted average price. Okay. Yeah, so it moved up, then we have sideways for a couple of years, right? For 2 years sideways. It's moving out again, and now it's starting to consolidate. Earnings are coming up, and again, good volume coming in. On the monthly chart, you can see that this is just, up, sideways, rotation up. It looks beautiful. Roku, Roku has a neat little pattern. Come on, stop that. Okay. It doesn't want me to do that there, so let us do it here, right? Something like this, right? So Roku, runs up, pulls back, runs up, pulls back, runs up, pulls back. Looks like we're going to start a new run up. I think it does need to get above, I don't know, 160, 170-ish, 175 maybe, for it to really start to begin. But that's the pattern that we've been seeing in Roku, and so on the monthly chart. And so it looks like it's starting again. And looking on the weekly chart, you see that pattern even more defined. Again, great volume coming in. And each of these pullback weeks on very, very small volume. So I do like Roku a lot there. Okta, this is the weekly chart. And looking here, we have the big run up, sideways consolidation again for just over a year. And now it broke out. Broke out really nice. And now we're starting to see that consolidation again. Looking at the monthly chart, and you can see it's just a beautiful uptrend. So no signs of it slowing down yet. Looks pretty good. So Cryoport, here's one. Yes, do this. Now there's a monthly chart, so this is going back pretty far away, and you see how now it beat its volume weighted average price from its IPO, which was back in 2007. Now you see some real volume start to come in, and it's trying to make multi-year highs, right? It hasn't been at this level since 2010. So for a decade, it hasn't been this level. So we'll call it decade highs. Looking on the weekly chart, just a beautiful base that it created here. And now it's trying to move higher. Moving on. Mongodb, weekly chart. This sideways consolidation, broke out, sideways consolidation. And on the month, you can kind of see, it started way back here and moved up. Here's your sideways, moved up. Now we got another sideways movement. So, above, 240-ish. I think this can move higher. AYX on the monthly. Double bottom looking idea, break out. Looks pretty good. Earnings coming up. Move that to the weekly chart. And you'll see how there's a double bottom, breakout, sideways. And we'll see what it does after earnings. 2 more, 3 more. Huge WO. Here's Q2 holdings on the weekly. Testing this area again. This one is maybe very actionable with earnings on the 5th. Looking at the monthly, this volume weighted average price from the IPO stuck the landing right there in March. So that was interesting. And then it bounced straight up from there. And now it's trying to break out. But again, beautiful uptrend, right? You look at the monthly chart, you can see the uptrend. You look at the weekly chart and you see the uptrend and then the sideways movement. And now it's trying to break out again. We'll see what happens. Pinterest. So here's the weekly chart on Pinterest, and it just had earnings, which was unbelievable. Did a 30% move, 40% for the month, for the week, I'm sorry. Pretty unbelievable. Amazing volume coming in. So what are we watching for? We're either watching for some type of consolidation and then a breakout, consolidation into the moving averages, or a breakout and you manage risk against here, right? So Pinterest, wait for your entry, and when you see it, I think go for it. Verisight, again, here's the weekly chart. The company's been around since 2013. And you see the volume weighted average price was kind of resistance, right? Then it held a support, right? And now we're breaking out to all-time highs. So Verisight looks really good. Looks like this on a monthly. And you see it created this IPO base, broke out, kind of retested. You can almost see how this was, support resistance. Back in this area, you can even probably go up to here. And now consolidated, and now it's breaking out again. So that's Verisight. Let's do a few more. Zscaler on the monthly, just a total beast, right? Unbelievable. Let's look at the weekly, making all-time highs. So this looks pretty good. FVRR. Again, kind of moved sideways out of his IPO, broke out of this $34 and now has doubled and is still moving higher. That's on the monthly chart. I mean, just literally straight up since April, looking amazing. Hookson Limited, it's an Chinese name. You see here's the downtrend. This is the volume weighted average price from the IPO. It's now just challenging it. Some good volume coming in. Looking on the weekly chart, this is again breaking above it with good volume. So it's definitely one to watch, but know your risks. It is a Chinese name, and there has been some fraud in some of the other Chinese names like Luckin Coffee fairly recently. So just be careful with this particular name. PagerDuty, weekly chart. Here was the IPO, then it went straight down basically. And now we're coming back up and trying to consolidate right here. I think if we can break out above this 30.5 level, that would be very constructive on a monthly basis. Again, just trying to get, see if we can turn back up. And even if it gets back up here, that's could be a double potential for you. Yandex monthly chart. So right from the get-go, we have this kind of inverse head and shoulders base. There's your breakout. I think it's a Russian search engine is what this is. So, but looking good. This volume weighted average price, you see, again, back in March, stuck the landing. Also held it right here. So nice rotation up, nice breakout. We'd love to see maybe a little pullback here and maybe get involved at some point. Tenable. Oh, can't type today. All right. Here's the monthly chart for Tenable. Basically it's gone sideways since the IPO, just kind of marking time. But when you look at the weekly, you can see more of a base that's formed, right? Maybe double bottom. There's your breakout, looking pretty good. The highs are at 40-ish or so, so we potentially could move up that way, and then we could see. That's Tenable, and I have two more actually at this point. Then we'll call it a day. Chewy on the weekly chart, dip down, and now it's come right back up. This is obviously the obvious area, right? We get about $52.50, $52.75. I think Chewy can go much, much higher. Not much to see in the monthly chart, but you see that since February, it's been on a tear. And the last one is Xperi Holdings. Here's a monthly chart. You see the downtrend, and now we're challenging this downtrend line. Good volume. Weekly chart. Again, there's the downtrend. Amazing volume coming in. The pullbacks have been very shallow. So that looks, I think it's a positive. And so if we could create this base, right? Finish up this base and then come back around. 25, I think is very reasonable. And if we get all the way back up here, it's $46. All right, so that was the long view. Again, monthly charts, weekly charts this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some ideas from that if you're a longer-term investor. Again, even if you're a daily, you look at daily charts usually, I think looking at the weekly and monthly charts adds a lot of value to the process. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, go ahead and give me a like. Leave me a note if you liked one particular setup in the comments. If you're on Twitter, go ahead and appreciate the likes and the retweets. Thank you very much, y'all, and have a great day.